Hello and welcome to another episode of Tips and Ideas with Ed Wallace of Midwest Landscaping. Remote riding here in Southern California. www.uniqueenvironments.com. We're driving at the Mach speed of 5 miles an hour, headed home. I thought I would just share some information with you concerning doing landscape projects, and when you get your proposals and bids, some things you should look out for and some things you should look ahead to make sure that you're getting the best for your money. First things first, your contractor. Make sure that your contractor that you're hiring to do the work is a licensed contractor and does have the proper information for him concerning liability insurance, workers' comp, and all the other good stuff, so that when your job is underway, you don't have any surprises happen to you as you're doing your job, while monitoring the project as it moves along. You have guys that may get hurt. You may get things stolen from your house, depending on who the people are that you invite to your home to get this estimate or to do this work at your home. So just be wary of that and take all the precautions necessary so that you don't get ripped off. One good thing about doing business directly with clients is that you look them in the eye and they look you in the eye, and you can have a good feeling about the fact that, hey, these people want your expertise and your knowledge, and hey, you want to be able to make some money. So it's a two-way street. So make the best of it and be honest and forthright with everything you say with the client and everything you do with the client. And in turn, the client should be straightforward on budget and let you know what they can and cannot afford. I really dislike having to go out to a job site to do an estimate, and all I'm doing is getting bid shopped, to where it's like the client wants to know this and know this and know that, and then they give you some flimsy excuse about, oh, well, we're not ready to start yet, but when we are, we'll get a hold of you. That's all good, but until that time, you have overhead. The contractor has overhead and bills they have to pay like everyone else. And so as a homeowner or a business owner, be professional enough to let the contractor know, like, hey, this is what I can afford. This is what I want to go for. Let me know if this is realistic budget or not. And the contractor will appreciate it. And that way you can be able to get things done in an expedient way without worrying about finances and stuff like that. And the contractor can do the job and not wonder if he's going to get paid or just what the job scope entails. Second thing that you want to keep in mind is that there's certain elements of the job that you should go ahead and complete, even though your initial proposal may be kind of high. And a lot of times on the proposals, you have your hardscaping, softscape, which is plant material, your landscape lighting, low voltage lighting, your demo, irrigation work, and mulching or ground cover applications, and maybe it's a few other little line items I didn't mention, but those 4 or 5 are your main core things that you got to pay attention to when you're doing your project. Making sure that you know what's going on, you have a plan to work from. If you don't have a plan, you have something sketched out so you can have a reference point for not only yourself but also for the contractor. Making sure that you call in a company. It's a company called Dig Alert here in Southern California, and what it is, it's an underground service alert company, and I'm pretty sure that number is universal, the 811 phone number, where either the contractor or yourself needs to call in this entity to be able to properly identify potential or possible water, electricity, utility, cable, different types of utility lines that come into the house or onto the property. They need to be identified. The 811 or Dig Alert people, what they do is they come out, or they notify all the different utilities and people that may have properties or they may have access to your land from the standpoint of running cable lines or irrigation or petroleum type products, that there's a matrix of piping and different things going on in those areas. So you want to make sure that when you start doing digging and trenching and such for your job, or to do a demo, you don't want to run into one of those cables and maybe get killed from electrocution or killed in another way by having to pay outrageous fines because you weren't properly identified and you knew what was going on. So that particular item is very, very important to know about marking your utilities. Second point I want to make out to you is that, or need to tell you, is that running low voltage wiring cable is a good idea. You may not have the budget set for some qualities lighting, but it's a good idea to go ahead and run your cable. In my case, I use 12-2 cable in the different areas where I assume that I'm going to have lighting, and you do a kind of a survey of what's going to look good with up lights, what's going to look good for down light, and wall washes and isolation lamps on particular types of features or statues or plant material. All that stuff needs to be talked about and worked out, so when you lay the cable for these particular units, you have adequate cable, you have an adequate lead-in or point that you can make the splice and connect those lights. But that's something you need to pay attention to, because you don't want to put in your ground cover or your decomposed granite ground cover and then later decide you want to put in some low voltage lighting. So you got to dig all that stuff back, dig up the DG in order to properly install the cables. So think about putting that cable in long before you do the rest of the project. One of the other areas that you need to pay attention to is your plant material. There's a lot of people that like to do 5-gallon, 15-gallon size plants, and if you want to get things established pretty well or make it look established, that's a fantastic idea. But I've learned from one of my designers that he designs with pretty much only 1-gallon plant material, and the way he looks at it is that these plants will basically acclimate and grow over a short period of time, not years and years and years, but a short period of time. You'll get a good stand of trees or shrubs. And so it's a good budget idea to consider using 1-gallon container plant material rather than 5 or 15-gallon. If you want to have something a little bit of class or a little bit of on the project when you first pull up, it's a good idea to size up, and that way you have some reasonable sized plants out there on the job site and everything doesn't look like Never Land from the standpoint of the height of the plant material and the girth of the plant material. Okay. A third thing that you need to pay close attention to is basically the transitions from the old to the new for the client. Some clients take this transition quite well. Other clients, they kind of freak out, realizing that what we talked about is actually going to be taken out or replaced. Sometimes they get clients that they get cold feet at the last minute once we get underway, but not that often. But every now and then we get one that puts us, keeps us humble. So be aware of that. Okay. There's many other tips and ideas I can give you concerning plant material, concerning safety, equipment, and concerning just the flow of how a project is going to go. And I will do future episodes of this same particular topic, but the couple bullet points I pointed out about your workers' comp, proper license, the dig alert, alerting, having a realistic budget, and basically enjoying the ride along the way. That's most important when you're doing a project, to enjoy the ride, because once it's done, but you want this thing to grow on you and grow beautiful. So as I cruise at the Mach speed of now 10 miles an hour here on the 405 Santa Monica Freeway headed home, I want to say thanks for viewing my video. Give me tips and ideas on how I can make my videos better. I will be purchasing a GoPro camera pretty soon, so I can really work at perfecting my videos and give you some good content. But ideas and comments are always welcome. Click below to subscribe, and thanks for watching. Ed Wallace, riding mobile here in Southern California, Midwest Landscaping. Tips and ideas, www.uniqueenvironments.com.